Hi you guys, EB the Original Master here, and today I'll be doing a video on my top 5 favorite modern SpongeBob episodes. So this is basically a top 5 video on some of my favorite moments of the modern SpongeBob. To be exact, there are some episodes that I really like from the modern episodes and some I don't like. So these are the top 5, and let's stop chit-chatting and let's begin. Alright you guys, so the first episode I have is Sunbleached, which is from the 6th season, and I'm not gonna tell you guys what episode number this is. I'm just going to give you guys a quick synopsis about this episode. So basically this whole episode is that there's like this giant brown fish guy. I'm not going to say his name because I forgot his name because I'm not that memorized of it. And it's like holding this tan party, like it's like a party, but you have to be this tan to enter. So what makes this episode hilarious is that the way how SpongeBob and Patrick are trying to get tanned. I mean, it was really hilarious. Like, the guy who was hosting the party was making fun of SpongeBob and Patrick, saying afraid of their own shadows, and they're spineless, I guess, and they're really bad. So basically, SpongeBob and Patrick created a tanning booth at Patrick's house, and then this part was really hilarious to see how SpongeBob was tanning in the tanning booth, and then Patrick just being stupid, just not getting him out. This part was kind of meh, but it was kind of funny at the same time. So SpongeBob is sun bleached, and then he becomes all whitish, tannish color, and that's when funny things begin to happen. This is one funny part of the episode where SpongeBob finds this baby, and then the mom literally just knocked him out and punched him into the sand. That was pretty funny. I'm gonna give them credit. That was pretty hilarious. And the other funny part of this episode, sorry if I'm stuttering a lot. Another funny part that I have with this episode is the part where the party was holding, and then the host, again, I'm not going to say his name because I forgot his name, held at a baby, and then he pulled the baby's pants down and just realized that his butt was a little white tannish color. That was pretty funny. I mean, it was funny and inappropriate at the same time. And then I think my last favorite part is when they were at the party and they were just dancing, having a good time, and then SpongeBob's caramel that Patrick put over him hardened, and SpongeBob just stood there froze and can't dance anymore. And I think the other funny part is when Patrick raised his arms and he ripped his armpit hair off and started screaming. That was hilarious. Overall, this episode was pretty decent, you guys. I didn't have any problems with Sunbleached. And yes, it was pretty hilarious. Goo Goo Gas is number 2 on my list, and this episode was really, really creative. This was a really creative episode, you guys. So in Goo Goo Gas, it's from season 5. So in this episode, Plankton creates a gas that turns that turns adults into infants, meaning they turn from adults to babies. So Plankton's at the park, he finds a mother and its baby, so Plankton has this evil scheme to turn Mr. Krabs into a baby so he can steal the Krusty Krab formula, the Krab Patty formula to be exact. And this was pretty weird and funny at the same time. I mean, this was a really hilarious episode. My only issue with this episode is that Sandy was nowhere to be found. If they put Sandy in this episode, I would have laughed my butt off to see Sandy as an infant, because we've never seen her as an infant before. We've only seen SpongeBob and Patrick as babies, because that was pretty weird. And then I think the other funny part is when they turn SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs into senior citizens. Plankton turned SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs into senior citizens, and they turn into babies. They turn everyone into babies. Like, Karen as a baby is a small calculator, which is kind of weird. I mean, this whole episode was really creative, really good plot, really hilarious gags, and I really think the most funny part is where Plankton landed in Patrick's diaper and he just, like, farted all over him. I mean, he just sharted into his diaper, I guess. And then, so Plankton's in this nightmare of all these infants roaming around the Krusty Krab. Really good episode, really good humor. I really loved Goo Goo Gas. This episode gets a 5 out of 5. Good job, Nickelodeon. Way better than Squid Baby from the 9th season. Giant Squidward is my next favorite episode from the modern SpongeBob, season 6. And so basically this whole plot is that Squidward has this spray bottle that makes everything grow. And then so SpongeBob and Patrick use it on Squidward, and then Squidward turns into this giant behemoth. And what makes this episode funny is when Squidward was giant. So everyone in Bikini Bottom thinks Squidward is a really evil person, even though that he's big. And then there's like this kid with a storybook say he probably must be nice, like the guy in like the giant in my story. So this is one funny part where I actually kind of did laugh, is when Squidward sneezed, and then this one lady in the background said, "He didn't say bless you!" So everyone started attacking him for some unknown reason. That was really hilarious to see the fact that Squidward sneezed without saying bless you or excuse me. Wait, that's just, no, first of all, Squidward is sneeze, and whoever sneezed doesn't have to say bless you or excuse me. They can't say excuse me, but yeah, they could say that. But other than that, this episode was okay. It was all right. I mean, it wasn't that bad, but it was all right. Not the best episode, but it's still part of my favorites. And I think the weird part is when they used the spray bottle for like Squidward's clarinet for some unknown reason, and then when Squidward played on it, he shrunk because it was like a shrinking potion, I think. Other than that, this episode was decent, not bad at all. Krusty Towers from season 4. Now, guys, this was season 4 was an okay season, you guys. There were some episodes in season 4 that was pretty good, and Krusty Towers is one of them. So in Krusty Towers, Mr. Krabs turns the Krusty Krab into a hotel, making SpongeBob and Squidward their employees. So this episode was really funny, really creative story of Mr. Krabs turning the restaurant into a hotel. I think that was pretty creative. And this episode came out in 2005, so that was a pretty good year to start an episode like this. I'm glad they started this idea way early into the show, not way into the modern like 2016, 2015, those years, 2011. But I'm glad they did this in 2005 because that's the earliest they have ever been that creative. So this is one hilarious part is when Mr. Krabs said, "This elevator is for guests only. Take the employee elevator." And guess what? There were stairs. That was hilarious. Another funny part in this episode is where Mr. Krabs was reading from the plaque. I might end up looking what the plaque said again because my memory of SpongeBob isn't the greatest, but I know some moments of SpongeBob. And then at the ending was really hilarious where they were in the swimming pool, which is a bathtub. And then I think when Mr. Krabs splashed into the pool, I think Mr. Krabs was already in the pool, but somehow the whole hotel collapsed. And as it collapsed, the water was draining through the windows. And then Patrick was like, "This is a hospital?" And yeah, this episode was pretty funny, pretty hilarious, creative, and had some good humor. Okay, you guys, the last episode on my list is I Heart Dancing from season 7. So I Heart Dancing, this was a meh episode. It was meh, meaning that it really wasn't that great, you guys. I'm not going to say it's bad, but I'm going to put it under a meh. So this whole plot of this episode is that SpongeBob was dancing a whole lot in the Krusty Krab until he got a dancing audition. He literally got a dancing audition for this one woman, and so Squidward wants to teach SpongeBob how to dance better. What makes this episode really hilarious is when SpongeBob said this really good quote, "Who put you on the planet?" That is by far one of my favorite quotes of the modern SpongeBob. It was really funny, the fact how SpongeBob says it, and then he makes that weird face, which is a meme, by the way, which I find it pretty hilarious. I mean, that quote was really good. And Squilliam Fancy Son was in this episode too. I think this season marked Squilliam's last appearance, because I don't think Squilliam was in season 8 or season 9, but Bubble Bass made a returning appearance in season 9, like in the episode Bulletin Board, which I was surprised, because Bubble Bass really wasn't the same in season 8. I mean, season 1 is when Bubble Bass had some really good humor. I mean, Bubble Bass was one of my favorite SpongeBob characters, one of the few of my favorites. I mean, he was a really funny guy. I mean, he was funny, he was nerdy, he was like an enemy to SpongeBob. But I Heart Dancing was meh. And then there's another funny part of this episode is where they're like these two girls, I guess, they were like singing, like they're Huggly Wubblies or some crap. And then they were like, "I told you it was a stupid idea, and I hate you too." That was really funny. Really funny. And then the way how Squilliam just whipped Squidward against the face, just because he couldn't dance properly. This episode was kind of better than Slimy Dancing, but Slimy Dancing, when Squidward went into SpongeBob's body, that was okay. It was kind of creepy, but not as funny as I Heart Dancing. Now let's move on to my conclusion. Well, you guys, in conclusion, there are more episodes of the modern SpongeBob that I will be reviewing soon, but not at the moment. So next time I will be talking about my least favorite modern episodes. Yes, I'm going to talk about those. And yeah, so I hope you guys watch this video. And I need to look up this YouTuber that I need Yes, there's this YouTuber with a SpongeBob profile pic that I really need to look up its name because I want to see if he slash she will be able to comment on this video. Other than that, those are some of my favorite modern episodes of SpongeBob, which are Sunbleached, Giant Squidward, Goo Goo Gas, I Heart Dancing, Krusty Towers, and yeah, those are the top five. Thanks for watching, you guys.